What's up, guys? Welcome to the audio room. I'm going to give everybody a couple of minutes to hop on, and then we will get started. And I'm going to grab me some coffee here real quick. And then I'm going to pull up my document that I made for you guys tonight that I'll be dropping at the end of this so that you guys have some sort of reference to go from. And then we'll be going from there. While we are waiting for people to hop on, do you guys want to drop in the comments? There's a little comment thing in the middle. If you guys want to drop in the comments some of your guys' wins that you had this week. And then we'll be getting started. If you don't have any wins to share, drop a line about the 7-a-month program. Is there anything I can add to the program to make your guys' life better? I'm always looking for feedback on how to help you guys even more and all of that. So, sorry, my son is in the background, but we're getting started right now. What's up, David? David Lewis. I think you actually got the KPI sheet earlier, didn't you? I think you did. I don't know. All right, guys. So let me go ahead and pull up my document here for you guys, so that we can start going over everything. And guys, just so you guys know, I do either a live or an audio room every week on Monday. So keep an eye out for the emails, or just keep an eye out in the group for an event, so that you guys never miss a beat on anything that's going on. And that's basically how that works. So let's go ahead and jump into this document that I made for you guys here, and we'll talk about it, and then I will drop everything in the comments section for you guys to look over and to get some value from. All right, so guys, there's 5 steps to doing 10,000 a month, and most of that takes place inside of marketing, negotiation, and marketing, negotiation, and appraisals, right? So those form the basis of this entire business. And you can actually use all of these, whether you're buying phones or whether you're buying something else, you can use it in pretty much when you're buying and reselling just about anything. So we're going to go ahead and start here. So the 5 steps to hitting 10,000 a month, which is around $3,000 to $4,000 in profit. Number one, guys, the number one thing that we need to be focused on pretty much at all times is lead generation, right? So we need leads coming in consistently so that we have people to talk to. The more people that we have to talk to, the more deals we are typically going to make based on, how many people we talk to. So how many different ways are there to, create lead generation, right? So, we have the free ads, right? We have groups, we have Craigslist, we have, all these, we have Nextdoor. We have a bunch of places where we can post free ads, right? Then the next thing we have is paid Facebook ads, right? So a good amount of you are doing paid Facebook ads now. So the next one is going to be Instagram paid ads, which is pretty much the same as Facebook, just with making a slight adjustment inside of the ads manager. The next one would be Google Ads, which is something that's coming to this program here this week. The overall basics on it anyway. Nothing crazy in depth, but just the basics for the most part. The next one, when it comes to lead generation, is word of mouth advertising, guys. Word of mouth advertising is still by far the best way to advertise, by far. Whenever somebody else talks about your business, that's the best form of advertising you can get. Okay, so you definitely want to make sure that you're leaving a lasting impression on customers so that they give you what's called referrals. And this is the last part of lead generation here. So you want more people to refer people to you, right? The more people that spread your business through word of mouth advertising or referrals, the better. It's the best way to build a business by far. So that's number one. So that's the first step. We need to focus on lead generation, right? The second thing that we need to focus on is making an acceptable offer. Okay. So we have to make an offer when people, hit us up to sell their device, right? So, and here are, 5 steps inside of this, inside of making an offer that you guys can take advantage of. So I always appraise based on the lowest information possible. What does that mean? So I appraise based on, the lowest gigabyte, bad ESN. That's pretty much how I appraise, right? I will make the lowest offer first. If they accept it, great. If they don't, that gives me room to negotiate up, right? Let's just say, I offered based on 64 gigabyte and the device was actually 256 gigabytes, right? Now I can actually increase my offer, right? But if they would have accepted that and then I would have found out it was 256 later, I just made more profit, right? So you must appraise correctly. You have to know what you're buying something for, right? In the sense, you need to know what you're going to make before you ever buy, right? So part of this is using the appraisal calculator. If you guys don't know what the appraisal calculator is given to you guys inside of the 7-a-month program for free. So that you guys can use that to make offers and to know how much profit you're going to make on, a particular offer whenever you make it. You also need to know what the most you can pay will be. And this is where the calculator comes in again, right? So if you're using the appraisal calculator that is in the program, you can plug those numbers in and then you'll be able to see, the lowest pretty much you can offer and then the highest you can offer where you still make an acceptable profit. Okay. All right. So we've gone through number 1 and number 2, the 2 stages here, the 2 steps, right? Lead generation, making an acceptable offer, right? The next thing we're going to go through here is a little bit of negotiation. Now, negotiation does take time to master. I'm going to be fully upfront with you guys here about that. It does take time to master it. And I'll just be straight again. Talking to people is one of the hardest things to learn how to do on the planet. Like talking to people effectively anyway. So with negotiation in this business, something I tell my students is go for the no. You should have it before you ever give up on a conversation. You need to have that person typically tell you no about 5 times before you give up. Okay. You want to be very persistent with people. And by persistent, I mean follow up with them consistently and constantly so that you can stay in their inbox, stay on their mind, right? And then, another thing I want you guys to understand about negotiation is the price someone wants for their device and what they are willing to take are 2 very different things, okay? So this is one reason I say to run ads is because we are looking for people who, they're not really looking to sell their device themselves, right? We're looking specifically for those people. Now, if you go, start DMing people on Marketplace, which you can do, and you can make money with that because, I've done it and I've made money with it. It takes a little bit longer, right? Simply because of how, things are. And that's how that works, right? People on Marketplace know how much they want for their device. And, sometimes they won't budge, but sometimes they will, right? This is another instance where you would go for the no. The more no's you rack up, typically the more yeses you're going to rack up as well. Okay. So that's the third one, negotiation. Now, the next one, guys, is all about the meetup. And let me kind of go over the meetup process here real quick. So when you meet up with a person, one thing that you want to do is, number 1, you want to buy the phone, obviously. Yeah, that's great, right? But You also need to be collecting what's called customer data, their phone number and email if possible. The reason I recommend doing this is so that you can follow up with these customers consistently, at least every 30 days, right? The reason I say to do this is simply because if you follow up with people every 30 days, they can't forget about you, okay? We don't want them to forget about us. One thing in this business that I notice a lot of is a lot of customers think of us as like a one and done deal. And we don't want that. We don't want that to happen, right? We want them to think of, we want them to think of us 6 months down the road when they break their phone, right? And they want to sell it, right? Instead of going to EcoATM and getting, not a lot of money. Another thing you want to do upon the meetup is you want to have, I typically have an actual conversation with the customer. And what I mean by this is like, I'm actually sitting there, I'm talking with them, I'm asking them how their day is going. This builds a lot of rapport with the customers. So, and this is definitely something you want to do. Build rapport with your customers is important because they will remember that. Trust me, they are going to remember. Customers remember a lot. So collect customer data, follow up with your customers consistently every 30 days, and then have an actual conversation and build rapport with the customers so that you don't lose them to maybe a competitor or something, right? And then the fifth part here, guys, you need to be buying and selling multiple devices, and you need to be shipping them. If you guys want to get to $10,000 a month with $3,000 to $4,000 in profit, you can't be meeting up to buy something and then meeting up to sell something. You're not going to be able to do it because you don't have enough time. Now you might, if you really hustle, you could do it. But I shipped out 5 devices today, right? And I didn't have to meet up with anybody to do that. My life was a whole lot easier not meeting up with somebody to sell something. And yeah, I know you guys are going to talk about fees. I don't care about fees. Fees are just tax write-offs for me. I know what I'm profiting on. Right? So, keep that and know that, right? And you also need to be diversifying what you buy. So, and when I say diversifying, what I mean is buy MacBooks, iPads, smartwatches, buy multiple different things. Because if you buy multiple different things, you can profit in more ways than one, okay? So, and this is one of the best ways that I like to explain this too. A lot of people start off with just iPhones, right? They start off selling only iPhones or Androids or something, right? So when people do that, they're really limiting themselves. They're really limiting themselves on how much they can really make. For example, let me go to my sold listings here real quick on eBay, and I'll tell you guys what I shipped out today. I don't think I shipped out one phone, actually. I don't think I sold any phones today. Let me see. Here. Yeah, I didn't sell a phone today at all. So I sold a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con, the right side only. I sold an Oculus Rift CV1 cable for $65. I sold an iPad Pro fifth generation for $899. I sold a Oculus Rift CV1 virtual reality headset for $60. And then I sold an Oculus Quest controller. So I didn't sell one phone today, but I still made money. So every item or every type of device that you add to what you buy, you are essentially creating a new income stream for yourself. Okay. So you need to diversify what you buy. The next part of this that I'm going to talk about is do not keep inventory. If you don't own a phone store, don't keep inventory. Sell it. Sell the items as fast as you can. Because when you do that, you're basically just kind of holding, when you hold inventory, you're holding money. That's essentially what you're doing, especially in this business where we're trying to turn our cash over really quickly. You don't want to, you don't want to hold on to that stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's really what this comes down to. So these were the 5 steps, guys. 5 steps, lead generation being the most important, right? We went over lead generation. How to make an acceptable offer. We want to make acceptable offers. We need to be able to negotiate. So we need to, be able to communicate with the customer. Meetup is key. Collect customer data. Follow up with the customers consistently. So this is also interesting. I just got off a Zoom call with my Rescale students, and Rescale is my highest mentorship program that I have. And one of my students, 32% of his entire business for this last month came from repeat business. 32% came from repeat business. And that 32% was about $2,000 in profit. So repeat business is key, guys. It is a big deal. Once repeat business makes up 30% of your entire business, that is a huge deal. That means essentially you could stop reselling, or that means for him, he could stop reselling for a month and still make about $2,000 strictly off of repeat business alone. And that's awesome. So Meetup is key. Like I said, follow up with the customers consistently every 30 days. And then buying and selling multiple devices and shipping them. I do not recommend selling local if you are looking to grow quickly. Okay. All right, guys. So that wraps up the 5 parts of this, the 5 steps. What I'll do is I'll drop this in the comments for you guys. That way you guys have something to go off of. But what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to open up everything for Q&A. You guys can pop on. You guys can ask questions. I will answer them. And who wants to go first? There should be a thing down below on the bottom there where you guys can hop on and ask some questions. And like I said, I will be putting the thing in the comments here. Let me see if I can actually do that on my desktop. I don't think I can, but I can try. And if anybody wants to hop on and ask some questions, feel free. And I will answer basically whatever you ask. Let's find this here real quick. Nobody has any questions? Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. We got questions in the comments. My bad. All right. So do we physically meet with Google Ads? Yes, you do. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as Facebook ads for the most part. Can I do anything about this iPad being passcode locked? So, Kenners, if it is just passcode locked and not iCloud locked, you can reset the iPad with iTunes, and you'll be able to, reset it through iTunes. And then you say, I got 2010 MacBook Pro, 2003, all for parts, 1 iPad still in box. Cool. And then, yeah, David, I saw you bought the KPI sheet, bro. How do you like it so far? Make sure to make a copy of it for yourself so you can start tracking your business. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm selling my KPI sheet for $37. I dropped that in the group earlier. My KPI sheet is how me and my students track our business. One of my students earlier actually had a really, he dropped a really good piece of knowledge. And he told me earlier, he was like, yeah, I haven't really been filling it out. So I'm kind of in the dark on where my business is. And I thought about that and I was like, wow, that's actually really profound, because that's exactly what it's like. When you don't have your business tracked, when you don't know how many leads are coming in on a daily basis, like when you don't know what's happening in your business, you don't know what's happening in your business, right? You are literally walking in the dark inside of your own business, right? So it's really, really important to track your business, as most of my students do. So, all right, so guys, I just dropped that Google document in the comments for you guys. And that way you guys can check that out. And guys, like I said, I'm going to open, if you guys have some questions, I know some of you guys are posting some of these questions in the comments. You guys can also, there should be like a join meeting or a join panel button at the bottom. If you guys want to join with that, you guys can ask me those questions directly as well. And Randolph says, is there anything we can do about phones that are SIM locked? So on T-Mobile and on like Xfinity, not really. There's not much you can do. However, if the phone is paid off with a company like AT&T, you can actually unlock AT&T phones using the device unlock portal on AT&T. And that's pretty much the only time you can, unlock them for the most part. But most of the devices that I resell are either broken or SIM locked. So you're not missing out on much. Just make sure you're appraising correctly based on what you're buying them for. And then you should be okay there. Just make sure you're appraising. I mean, everything really comes down to appraising things correctly, guys. That really is what things come down to. Should I stop running ads campaign to make adjustments or make adjustments while ad campaign continue? I do not want to mess with algorithms. I set targeting by accident. Okay. So it depends on what kind of adjustments you're really looking to make, Rigoberto. So when you start a campaign, you typically have 5 ads, right? And you want to let those run for at least 3 days. 3 days. And then what you want to do is you want to find the the ads that are winning out of those 5. Okay, you want to find the ones that are winning out of those 5, and then you'll turn off the ones that aren't working. Now, if all of them aren't working, I would just shut the campaign off and try another split test. Split test meaning try another 5 ads. Okay. And when you're targeting on your first campaign, I recommend automatic placements simply because, it keeps things easy and you typically will get leads with that. So I hope that answered your question. Cool. All right. Any other questions, guys? Let's see here. Yeah, man, no problem. No problem at all. All right. Great. So, hey, guys, was this helpful? Is this whole thing pretty helpful for you guys? Or should I go back to live streams? Let me know in the comments. Do you know how much the 3 MacBooks would go for parts with those late years? You would have to appraise, man. I'm not going to look it up here because we're in the middle of a class. I would just appraise them based on eBay and then sell them for what they're selling for. Julio says, what's the oldest iPhone that you recommend buying? So I will typically buy anything iPhone 7 and up for the most part. Now, a lot of people don't like the offers that I make on iPhone 7s. They don't really enjoy that. So what I'll typically do when it comes to iPhone 7, with iPhone 7, what I'll typically do, let's just say somebody hits me up for one, right? iPhone 7, iPhone 7 Plus. Or let me go back to the 6, right? What I will typically do is I'll be like, hey, unfortunately, this model is quite old, and we don't typically buy these anymore, but we do buy MacBooks, iPads, smartwatches, and cameras. Do you have any of those? So what I'll do is I won't say I won't ignore them or anything. What I'll flip it into doing is I'll flip it into an upsell. That's typically what I do. And I try to get something else out of them. And hey, I might get that phone too, because I told them it was worthless. They might just give it to me. I've had that happen numerous times where they're like, it's not doing me any good, right? So I've had that happen a lot. So I'll buy anything, guys, like for the most part, almost anything if I can get more stuff with it. Can I get info on your mentorship? Yeah, I'll be talking about that towards the end of this, Randolph. Where do you get OEM boxes with accessories? Javon, I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I don't buy any OEM boxes or accessories because they're not needed. I have no need for those. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, and hop on the chat and explain in more detail if you could. I think what you're saying is buy boxes and accessories to put the phone into so that it resells for a higher value. Is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to understand what you're asking here. Because if that is the case, yeah, dude, that's not necessary. That's not necessary at all. You don't have to buy boxes, charging cords, and all of that. You can just sell the phone as is, man. You don't even have to sell a charger with it. Most people have a charger. They don't need the box. It's not really going to sell for that much more anyway. Just sell the phone as is. I mean, that's all I do. It makes my life a whole lot easier than trying to add steps into selling something when people will buy the phone as it is already. Yeah, absolutely, man. Don't make your life harder than it is. There's no reason to buy a box just to sell the box with a phone, because in the grand scheme of things, you're not making a whole lot more money if you're making any money at all. Because at the end of the day, what's the thing that they want the most? The box, the cable, or do they want the phone? They want the phone, right? So they don't really care about the other stuff most of the time. Most of the time, they just throw it away. So Julio says, I missed the 5 steps because I hopped on late. Yeah, dude. We can do a brief overview. I also dropped that in the comments section for you guys. But basically, the 5 steps were lead generation, making an acceptable offer, negotiation, meetup is key, and then buying and selling multiple devices and shipping them. So all of that is in where I just put the I put it in the comments for you guys. Made it easy. I think my mouse is dying, but yeah, all of that is in the comments for you, man. All right, guys. Like I said, this is a Q&A. If you guys want to hop on and have a conversation with me, you guys can do so. There should be a little panelist button below. It should be enabled, I think. Yeah, you guys can do a speaker request. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Any other questions, guys? Like I said, this is still a open Q&A, and I am here to answer you guys' questions. All right. Jeff Martin says, how about selling on eBay versus a direct buyer? So there's pros and cons, right? Nowadays, for the most part, I will typically sell, most of the stuff I've been selling is selling on eBay. For example, I had a phone the other day. I appraised it based on a direct buyer, and then found I was only going to make 120. And then I appraised it on eBay and then realized that I could make 200. So, I mean, it really depends. I usually appraise based on, I usually appraise using a direct buyer sheet first, because I already know that by appraising on a direct buyer sheet, like 90% of the time, I'm going to make more selling it on eBay. That's just kind of how things have been. And that's typically how it works, because, I mean, whenever you sell to a direct buyer, they're usually turning around and reselling that device on Swappa, on eBay, or overseas. They're middlemen, right? That's exactly what they are. So Andre says, hey, do you sell the iPhone buyers cheat sheet? Dude, that's free inside of the program. Maybe I should sell it. I'm just kidding. No, that's free inside of the program, dude. I don't sell direct buyer sheets. Jeff says, auction or buy it now? Buy it now always. I will not do auction. And here's the reason I never do auction, is simply because there is a market value for everything. The market value for everything, right? And everything has a specific price on the market. So if I sell it, or if I list it at that specific price, it is typically going to sell for that specific price. My only thing that I have to do is I have to figure out what that specific price is. That's it. Once I know what that specific price is, I can then make an offer on devices that is profitable to me. Buy it now is 100% the way that I go because I want my money quick and I don't want to wait 7 days for it. So, and sometimes people do auctions because they think they'll make a little bit more money off of it. But in the long run, you're just waiting longer. So you're either spending time or you're spending, I mean, honestly, whenever you're doing auctions, you're just really spending time. That's all you're doing. You're just waiting on your money longer for the most part. Because like I said, everything has a market value. I'm not going to put my thing on an auction for 7 days for $20 extra in profit. That doesn't make sense. When over the course of that 7 days, the item could have sold on the second day for the price that, you know, it is on the market. And then I would have had my money 2 days later so that I could flip more items, right? So the biggest thing with me, guys, is cash flow, right? How do I keep the cash flow going? The faster I can get the cash flow rolling, the more money I can make. The more that the cash is held up, the less money that I can make. Is this making sense, guys? Let me know in the comments if this stuff is making sense. Cool. All right. Javon says cash flow is important. Yeah. I mean, cash flow is his whole business. And if you don't have cash flow, you can't buy anything, right? So cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll start transitioning here a little bit. Does anybody have any questions, you know, regarding anything else? Feel free to hop on, ask me directly as well. What do you base the buy it now price on when prices are all over the board? Yeah. So, most of the time there's going to be, you know, at least 2 or 3 that are around the same price. Now, if prices are all over the board and like, you know, you really have no idea, then find the lowest priced one. That's what you want to do. You just want to find the lowest priced one and then base your whole offer off of that. You mentioned tax write-offs. Can you explain more? Fees. Yeah, I mean, fees are part of the business, guys. That's what they are. I mean, and fees are technically tax write-offs. Like, you know, my accountant writes off, you know, she goes through all of my stuff, you know, adds up my fees, finds my net profit at the end of the year. And, you know, fees are essentially tax write-offs at that point. So I'm, you know, I don't really know how to go much more into detail about that. I'll be honest with you, Rigoberto. My accountant takes care of most of my bookkeeping. So I don't really deal a whole lot with it. I fully believe in paying experts to do what they, you know, what they do well, so that I don't screw stuff up. I paid mine this year. She did all my bookkeeping for the year, and then filed my taxes. And I paid her, you know, $1,750 because and I only paid the IRS about $400, which I have no idea what she did, but she did. I guess she did what she did well. You know, that's why the first time I ever did my taxes in this business by myself, I paid $5,000 to the IRS because I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. So I always recommend paying a professional to either teach you or to, you know, just for them to do it, because it'll save you a whole lot of money in the long run when you pay the right people to do what they are trained to do for the most part. Yeah, it's CPA, accountant, you know, they're basically the same thing. Certified public accountant. Yeah. So cool. Any other questions, guys? These are great questions. All right. Cool. All right, guys. Well, if there's no more questions, what we're going to do is we're going to transition here a little bit and talk about, you know, what it looks like maybe to upgrade to, you know, the mentorship program. So I had somebody earlier asking about the mentorship program. So guys, basically what the mentorship program looks like, it's called the Electronics Reselling Accelerator Program. And essentially what that is where I help you set everything up beginning to end, Facebook ads, Google ads, Resell Deck, you name it, everything to start your business. So that means website, Google My Business, the whole, pretty much everything to actually create a business out of this. This isn't for people who are looking to do this as a side hustle. This is for people who are looking to get pretty serious with the business and take it, and what I mean by serious is like, creating an actual business, running all the ads, tracking KPIs, really taking this thing up and, getting up to $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 in profit a month. That is essentially what the Electronics Reselling Accelerator Program is. It's 6 months long, and it's designed to, help you win. You get put into a community of winners. You also get pretty much unlimited one-on-one help 24/7 when it comes to growth. It's not a Facebook group. It's actually a messenger group. And then you actually get 2 weekly calls as well. One is with my game console coach, Matt, where he actually trains people on how to find and flip game consoles. And this is another, this actually feeds back into what I was talking about a few minutes ago. I am not an expert on game consoles, not an expert, but I pay a coach who is. Matt is an absolute expert when it comes to finding and flipping game consoles. That's why I hired him to be in the program, because I knew that he would bring massive, massive value to the program. And then there's me, right? Good old me. I go live every Wednesday teaching people ads and KPIs and negotiation and stuff like that. Kind of jack of all trades on that call. Basically, whatever people need help with. On top of that, there's office hours where people can book one-on-ones with me and get help directly whenever they need it. Those are typically once a week, but that's basically how that works. And yeah, there's a lot more to it, but overall, the accelerator program is mostly mental, growing your business, doing it, relatively quickly, and doing it correctly. That's mostly what it helps people do. And the goal is to get to $3,000 to $4,000 in profit per month within 6 months. And most people do that because that's plenty of time to do that. So if you're interested in that, you do have to apply. So I'll drop that link here in the comments for you guys, where you guys have it, because I don't work with just anybody, because I want to work with people that want to work with me. So let me grab that for you guys here real quick. Overall, though, how do you guys like these audio calls? Are these audio calls pretty helpful? Let me know in the comments. And just dropped that link for you guys in the comments. Jeff said, I bought a PS4 today for $100. That is fantastic, dude. That's awesome. I love that. That's some good money. Yeah, I've been buying a lot of Oculuses here recently. I actually have 2 headsets right now, but all the controllers have sold. I make about $115 in profit on every single Oculus that I buy, which is pretty cool. And I learned that from my game console coach that's in my program. I hire people that are experts, right? That's how you win too. Hire people that are experts. And then, have them teach you your knowledge, teach you their knowledge. That way you also become a semi-expert. That's how I learned marketing. So I hired experts to teach me, right? Whenever I was coming up in this game, I hired David Kosciuszko, right? And he helped me grow my business. And then, we eventually became business partners, and then he retired. So, but, I'm big on mentorship. I'm big on growing. And what's up, Vincent? Good to see you, man. And sweet, guys. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in the mentorship program, I did drop that link in the comments. Remember, I don't work with everybody. I only work with the people that I think I can actually help, and people that actually want to work with me. So just be mindful of that. You also do have to have some money. Well, I say that. If you pay with PayPal credit, you can just finance the whole program for 6 months and not have to pay it for 6 months. That's what a lot of people actually do. So that way they don't tap it. I'm really big on not tapping into your own cash flow. And I'm actually working on financing options that are even better than that with a couple of companies right now to make things easier and more accessible to people. But overall, guys, that's about it for tonight. So if you guys do want to work with me, links in the comments, and also the document for tonight is also in the comments, so you guys can check that out. And I'm gonna open up about 5 more minutes of Q&A. If anybody wants to hop on and ask a couple of questions, feel free to do so. If nobody hops on, then I'll probably end this. And yeah. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys next week. I'll be planning out the events for the next week or so, and going from there. So you guys have a fantastic night, and be safe, and make a lot of money this week. And I'll see you guys later, and talk soon.